Mankind has been a victim to many wars, but none has had a bigger impact on the human existence than this one. This is the untold story of a sister and a brother. This is the Remigian Civil War. Nancy, I said Civil War music. That's better. On March 15th, 1997, Lisbeth Altagracia Remigio gave birth to her first and only daughter. She named her Liana Angelica.
What do I remember about Liana's birth? I remember a few things. I remember how I was pregnant for a whole 9 months, and then I remember how I was in labor for a whole 12 hours. The first time it was only 2 hours and 55 minutes, and he was born 8 months, and the second one was 45 minutes, and he was 8.5 months. This child made me wait a whole 9 months to be born.
Well, what I remember about Liana's birth is we left real early in the morning to drop the kids to Abuela Estella's house. Then I took Liz to Naya Hospital, and it was a long day.
I found out that Liana was coming when we were in the Dominican Republic, Matthew and I.
I don't remember much of what happened or how it went down, but I do remember champagne popping, confetti flying around while Backstreet's Back by the Backstreet Boys was playing. As I slowly walked out of my mom, I looked around for a bit and I thought to myself, I guess this place will do.
A strong bond began to form with the children of the Remigio household, but that all changed with a single toss of a remote control.
So we were jumping on Mom's bed. We did it a lot back then. And then the remote hit Matthew.
We were all jumping on Mom and Dad's bed, Tito, myself, and Liana. Then Liana turned and looked at me. I'll never forget those devilish eyes. She looked at me and she whispered, Azul. And then she threw the controller at my face.
I remember jumping on the bed with Tito and him. We were playing catch with the TV remote, which we often did on Mom and Dad's bed. I threw the remote to Tito, a beautiful throw to be honest, and it hit the idiot in the head. He shouldn't have jumped in the way.
Matthew began to blame Liana on things that she didn't do, including what is now known as the nose-breaking accident.
The nose-breaking accident was, as the name insinuates, just an accident. Fernando Jr. and Matthew were wrestling as they often did in the basement of the townhouse. Matthew then tripped and fell onto the edge of a cabinet that was under the TV. They found out eventually that his nose was in fact broken. And that, my friends, is how Matthew got his Owen Wilson nose.
The nose-breaking incident was an inside job, and not of my doing. We all know it was a cover-up for what Tito did, and he blamed me.
Blaming Liana? What do you mean blaming Liana? It was her that broke my nose. I was watching Schoolhouse Rock like the intelligent person I am, and she swung a spiked bat at my face. If it wasn't for my karate-like abilities, she would have killed me.
Yeah, that was us. It's whatever. We blame Liana because we all know she wasn't going to get in trouble. And I couldn't afford getting the 64 taken away from me. I was this close to being Star Fox. I mean, really close. I was on that mission where you're driving that hover car thing. Alright, maybe I wasn't that close to being the game, but I was close.
Not too long after the nose-breaking accident, Fernando Jr. migrated to the basement of the townhouse, giving Matthew sole possession of the biggest room in the house.
Why did I move downstairs? For one, it was nice to have my own room.
So, I'm really excited. I have a big room. I thought to myself, there is so much room for activities. Then I come home to see that I was evicted and moved to the smaller room.
Liana and Matthew's mother and father then switched the two rooms. Liana was placed in the bigger room, and Matthew was placed in the smaller one. Matthew was not happy at all about this.
Mom and Dad gave me the bigger room for a few reasons. One, I'm a little girl, so I need more space.
I gave him the smaller room because Liana's the girl. Girls have more things, more shoes, more clothes, more toys.
Two, I'm pretty.
So the princess needed the bigger room.
And three, Matt just needs a smaller room. A small room with white cushioned walls and floors without a window and a straight jacket.
Lisbeth and Fernando Sr. began noticing the ongoing hostility between the two siblings.
Their mother and father then started ratifying acts to try and loosen some tensions in the house. They eventually ratified the Leisure Act, Title IX, and the Playtime Compromise.
Acts? Okay, I guess you can call them acts if you want. But what we did was try to get them away from each other. I put Liana in ballet and Matthew in baseball.
With Title IX, both parties felt like they were being forced into gender-appropriate activities, and really they felt it was unfair. Liana was then signed up to play soccer, and Matt was signed up to do ballet.
Matthew loved dance, but unfortunately slipped on a banana that was left on the stage during his recital and was never able to recover. He has lost all rhythm since.
I cannot explain to you my hatred towards bananas.
So after keeping them apart, their father and I felt maybe if we forced the two to play with each other, they would eventually tolerate one another.
But after all that we did, it didn't work.
The playtime compromise. This is the first time their parents really tried to solidify a bond between the two. Now, forced Leanna and Matthew to share toys and play with each other, but it didn't really work out the way their parents wanted it to.
So the PC also wasn't something I enjoyed much. The penguin and I just didn't get along. Honestly, you would have had an easier time getting a lion and an antelope to get along. And yes, I'm the lion.
The playtime compromise led to something nobody could have predicted: the fire of 2002.
Ah, yes, the great fire of '02.
The fire of the doubles.
The fire of MMII.
I remember that day like it was only a few days ago. It was a warm summer day. I remember early that day I picked roses in the gardens with Mom.
I remember it being a chilly fall afternoon. That was the day that actually beat Star Fox for the 20th time.
It was a freezing winter night. I remember losing my pet T-Rex when he fell out of my pocket while shoveling.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was a regular spring day. My husband and I were shopping earlier at Kohl's for summer clothing.
I repainted the basement that day.
So I was watching the Rugrats. It was the Touchdown Tommy episode.
Then Penguin picked his nose and chased after me with the booger on his finger. Gross.
Then Leanna steals my Tamagotchi. She knew I had to feed little Tommy and she ran off with him. So I chased after her.
That's the episode where Dee Dee lets Stu watch the kids during a football game. Big mistake.
She runs towards the dining room table, bumped into it, chanting something in Latin, and then the table caught fire.
He bumped into the dining room table while chasing me and knocked over a candle. The candle lit the table on fire.
It was crack.
Tito was yelling, "Fire!" So my husband and I ran down the stairs to see a fire on my brand new dining room table that I hadn't even finished paying off.
There are many theories as to what caused the Great Fire of 2002. What we do know is that Matthew was chasing Leanna throughout the living room and the dining room in the townhouse. One bumped into the dining table, caused the candle to tip, and the tablecloth then caught fire. The table was damaged beyond repair.
So am I saying it's his fault?
No.
I'm
I am saying
it
was completely her
his fault.
The Remigian Civil War is brought to you by RPPRB.
Do you love Kids Bop, Glee, or any random cover on YouTube? Well, then you'll love this. It's RPPRB! Yes, that is random people playing rock band, featuring classics like only on Random People Playing Rock Band will you hear your favorite songs getting butchered by people that can't sing, like this cover of Killer Queen. Order your copy of Random People Playing Rock Band today.
Years went by and tensions increased in the Remigio household. When the decision was made to move into a bigger house, Matthew was given the smaller room. Matthew was beside himself. Thus he declares war on Leanna, starting the Remigian Civil War.
The idiot declares war on me. And I'm like, really? Then I thought to myself, what could I lose in this? So of course, I agreed. Worst case scenario, he annoys the hell out of me and he won't get the room. Best case, he makes a fool of himself and I can use his room to store my American Girl dolls. I took the name Larzania for my country. Larzania has Greek roots. Lars, in Olden Greek, was the name of the most beautiful goddess. She was the goddess of wisdom, warfare, divine intelligence, architecture, and crafts. He named his stupid country Mythopia. I named my country first and told him while we were watching ants. He clearly named his country after Insectopia. He denies that to this day.
Now, Leanna claims that I took the name Mythopia after watching Ants, and that's entirely correct.
The Garnival House. Leanna takes the Batman emblem for the Larzanian flag because of her love of Batman. Matthew's Mythopian flag was inspired by the Jurassic Park films. Matthew makes his first move in the territory war by placing a PlayStation 2 in the family room district. Leanna responds by annexing the Florida room and the kitchen province. Matthew sees Leanna's advancements, so he creates a wiffle ball arena in the backyard. Leanna quickly places a toy chest in the downstairs kitchen township, thence claiming it as Larzanian territory. Matthew may have declared the war, but Leanna strikes first with the Front Seat Rebellion.
Leanna's Front Seat Rebellion is one of the most successful rebellions in the history of mankind. I'm talking the Baxter Rebellion, French Revolution, off with his head, the Third Civil War, the War of Spartacus. Leanna would make sure she would sit in the front seat of any car, forcing Matthew to sit in the back seat.
This was one of the more exciting parts of my day. The face Matt makes when he sees me in the front seat looks like a dog when you bark at it, mixed in with Two-Face from The Dark Knight when he is in the hospital. He's ugly. That's the point I'm trying to make. Two-Face is ugly. Yeah.
Matthew responded with a strategic tattletaling campaign. Leanna countered with one of her own.
The tattletaling got super annoying. Who cares if Matt didn't do his homework? So I took it upon myself to talk to the UP and created what I like to call the AT&T Act. The Anti-Tattle and Tailing Act, to be specific. Both signed it, and it made it so that they both wouldn't tattletale on each other.
With air raids, one side would invite friends over and invade the other's territory, making that territory temporarily theirs.
I was doing really good. I mean, I was about to win this war. Then we went to Hogan's. It was equivalent to my 4th season of Community.
So we were at Hogan's. I'm doing my thing, being super cute and whatever. Then the penguin has the nerve to reach over and eat my last piece of bacon.
I'm pretty sure she wasn't going to eat it because she never finished the food anyways.
You never steal bacon. Never!
Then she started to cry. I'm not talking about the wah type of crying. And not the and not even the I'm talking about the please somebody help me! I have a flat tire type of crying.
Cried quite a bit, to be honest. But I did it to get Matt in trouble, so it was for the better. Then Tito insisted that we sign some stupid treaty.
The Hogan's Pact was the second major treaty during the war. The pact restricted fighting outside of the Remigio home. Fernando Jr. did, however, allow for the Front Street Rebellion to continue.
So I made the two sign the Hogan's Pact. Partially because the diner that we went to was Hogan's Diner, but mostly because I couldn't stop thinking of WWF No Mercy, which I could have been playing instead of feeding the two delinquents.
The pact, I guess, was necessary. The adopted one found another reason to embarrass Mom and Dad while we were in public. The other being how ugly he was, and still is.
The Remigian Civil War is brought to you by RPPRB.
RPPRB, the only way to start to hate your favorite songs, including when you are young. Get your copy of RPPRB today.
Leanna first used her new psychological weapon, crying, during the Hogan's incident. She quickly realized that crying, mixed in with her overall cuteness, would defeat Matthew in battle, every time.
Leanna was defeating Matthew over and over again in battle. I'm talking Starks versus Lannister. She's Robb Stark. Matt's Tywin Lannister. He can't win a battle. It's not happening. So Matthew recruits a new general, General Steve Wargo. In a series of Facebook messages, General Wargo explains how Matthew could invade the Florida room, take over the kitchen, prevent crying, and eventually take over her room.
Leanna sees all of these messages after Matthew forgets to log off of Facebook.
Was I nervous when I found out Matt recruited Steve Wargo as help for the war? Did Batman give up when the Joker paralyzed Barbara Gordon? I guess not all people know Batman like I do. Can I try that again? Okay. Blah, blah, Wargo, blah, blah, nervous. No.
As Matthew begins his invasion, he is met by Leanna. His invasion fails. She then responds with one of her own.
So this is my birthday, and I figured I could use the party to take some territory away from Matt and finally end this war. You know, I never told anyone, but I was tired of all the constant fighting. At first, we were fighting for a purpose, but then it seemed to get more personal. Yeah, the whole goal of mine was to annoy him, but it got to another level, a level of hate. So I rounded up 25 Larzanians and stormed into the family room.
With an army of 25 Larzanians, she storms the family room. Her mother got her a Band Hero for the PlayStation 3, How to Train Your Dragon on Blu-ray, and also a Wii. Since Leanna now had a reason to use the family room's TV, it became neutral grounds.
Matthew has lost the family room and will lose his backyard once his father places a gazebo in his wiffle ball arena. He only has one move left, not inviting Leanna to a trip to Universal Studios.
Alright, so he doesn't allow me to join him and Tito on a week trip to Universal Studios. Was I upset? Yeah, especially when he didn't include me in his state crossing text. This is Leanna. Why was I not included on this list? P.S. Calling Maryland the land in which Mary was born doesn't make it any less boring of a state. Just saying. Franny face. They were stupid, and I didn't care where he was, but it doesn't matter. Knowing Matt, he probably almost crashed Tito's car.
Now 8:07. Matthew's driving. So this is the video they get when we die. We all know who was driving when we died. Will you stop that?
Did something stupid like talk in sim talk.
Harry Potter.
And definitely took some stupid pictures around objects. I guarantee you know what? I bet you $1 million he tried to talk in different accents but failed.
What up? We in the city back. We're going to the movie. Good day, gentlemen. We were in New York City in 1994.
What a loser.
Matthew then gets his laptop privileges taken away when Fernando Jr. finds his laptop overcharged.
What you have to understand is that my laptop is everything to me. I need it for music and I need it for DJing. Let me tell you something. If there was a fire in the house and I had to save either Benji or the MacBook, I would use a MacBook without hesitation.
Benji, you wanna eat the cream?
Fernando Jr. was certain that it was Matthew's fault. Matthew blamed Leanna for it, and Leanna blamed Matthew. No surprise there. Afterwards, Fernando Jr. revoked Matthew's rights to use his laptop.
Wait, looking back now, I think I may have left the computer charged. Whatever.
After Matthew is no longer able to use Fernando Jr.'s laptop, he starts mocking Leanna where it would hurt the most.
So after everything, Matt starts to make things personal. He starts drawing all over my One Direction posters, mocking Harry Potter, and worst of all, he made fun of Batman. You don't make fun of Batman. He's Batman. So I retaliated by doing the one thing that would get him pissed. I started throwing cans in the garbage. I don't know why he took offense to that, but he was pretty mad. Then he came up to me and said, let's finish this once and for all, 120 after we eat our chicken nuggets and french fries, grab some friends, meet in the backyard. Whoever leaves alive gets the big room. I couldn't back down. You can't be named after the goddess of warfare and back down from a war. So I proudly accepted. Rosanians, fall in.
Methiopians, fall in.
A long time ago,
I was in Burma.
My friends and I were working for a local government
They were trying to buy the loyalty,
of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones.
but their caravans were being raided in a forest
North of Rangoon by a bandit.
So we went looking for the stones.
But in 6 months, we never met anybody who traded with them.
One day I saw a child
Playing with a ruby the size of a tangerine.
The bandit had been throwing them away.
So why steal them?
Because he thought it was good sport. Because some men aren't looking for anything logical like money.
They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
And some women like to watch the world heat up due to not properly recycling.
And some men want to mock the greatest superhero known to man.
I realized something this morning.
This so-called war was never a civil war in the Remigio household.
This
is
is
not a war,
my
my
brother.
sisters. This is a revolt.
This is a revolution.
And that adopted idiot over there is a rebel.
I will take what is rightfully mine. She can't stop us.
He will not take what is mine. I will not let him.
Methiopians,
Rosanians, today is the day we shut him down.
today is the day we shut her down.
Today is the day I get a library.
Today is the day I get a big enough room for a human.
Today is the day
my
Ethiopia
Zambia
falls.
Leave her
Death
alone!
will never die. Pray to your gods, brother.
Pray to my gods, the day I lose is the day that Manning doesn't play for Indy anymore.
Leanna! Matthew! Didn't I tell you to clean the kitchen?
Mrs. Remigio stopped the battle before it could begin. The backyard brawl didn't give Matthew Leanna's room. It didn't give Leanna Matthew's room. But it did have an outcome both sides didn't expect. As the two were cleaning the kitchen, they realized that they had some things in common.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Although both sides will never admit that it happened, the Remigian Civil War had ended.
Douchebag.
Get out of here. Who do you think you are over there?
You from Brooklyn now?
Oh, you think you're from Brooklyn?
You wanna get tough? This is me. This is me. That's my Yanks.
You don't even know what tough is.
Get out of here.
Tough guy.
Boston.
Yeah,
Chowder.
Chowder.
Go pack your car in the car garage. Get out of here.
Get out of here. That's still Brooklyn.
Still Brooklyn.